your meditation.
What's up, fellow Amiga users? Bill here. Last week I had the honor of being asked to speak at WordHack, which is a monthly program all about people doing things with words. It takes place at Babycastles in New York City. They had seen one of our guru videos about me making titles with DPaint, and they're like, wow, that's so cool how you move words around the screen with your vintage Commodore Amiga computer. Can you come give us a demo about how you do it? And I was like, absolutely. Babycastles, the place where WordHack takes place, is an amazing art gallery and community that covers all digital art forms with a big focus on independent arcade games. It's an awesome place, and they even host a yearly demo party called Synchrony that takes place on a train that goes from New York City to Montreal. It was an honor to be asked to speak at this event, and I was blown away by all the support from fellow WOG members Thierry Mazzoleni, J. Walter Hawks, and Samia Halaby. Enjoy.
WordHack is a monthly show we run here that series of talks and performances all around the intersection of language and technology. So kind of how computers and phones and codes all change the way we read and write and think about words and do stuff with that. And all kinds of people are working with words in all kinds of fields. So it's a fun place to get together and see what other people you might not encounter in your day-to-day life. AmigaBill is one of the founders and leaders of the Westchester Amiga user group. He does a lot of great content on YouTube and Twitch under the name The Guru Meditate. Is that?
The Guru Meditation on YouTube and AmigaBill on Twitch.
Meditation. Yeah, and AmigaBill on Twitch, so you can see him messing around with all kinds of all different types of Amigas. The Commodore computer, and so if you're into old computers, definitely check him out. And also, in addition to that, is a very talented filmmaker and director of photography, as we can see right here. He's gonna show us some really cool stuff of all of the kinds of fun titles and text things you can do on the Amiga. Really excited to see it. So give it up for AmigaBill.
Wow, Todd, thanks so much for that amazing intro. And I just want to say, I've never been here before, and I never expected this. This is so amazing. I'm so thankful to be here tonight. So yeah, thanks. I'm really a behind the camera kind of guy. I've been behind the camera my entire life. So like going onto YouTube and going onto Twitch and like coming here and doing these presentations is like really outside my comfort zone, and I just want to give like props to anyone who comes up here and does this or has a YouTube channel or has a Twitch channel, because it takes a lot of courage to do it, and you're awesome. So so anyway, yes, I'm a filmmaker, and I've been involved in video my whole life. My dad is a TV production teacher, and but really like one of the main reasons like why I got into video was this computer right here. This is a Commodore Amiga computer, and it was the first home computer that gave you the capability to do like desktop video. Like it's just, I love computer history, and when I run the Westchester Amiga user group and the YouTube channels, it's all about like preserving computer history. And this computer had like a profound impact on my life because, like I said, it was the first one that could do, desktop video, man. Like when the original Amiga came out in 1985, the PC could do like 16 colors, and the Mac was like still doing black and white. And this thing had 4,096 colors. This is actually a 16 color image you're looking at here. And it just like blew my socks off when I first saw it. And it was really, they called it the computer for the creative mind, and it was like the first computer for the creative mind. One of the things I like to do with my Amiga, again, being into video, I used to make my old videos when I was a kid, like with my VHS camcorder and editing it together, like VCR to VCR. But I was able to like step up my game and separate myself a little bit because I had the Amiga and could do like really cool graphics and titles. Now I'm not a great artist when it comes to like drawing or anything like that, so I just had to stick to typefaces and moving them around the screen. But back then it was like a pretty big deal, because if you look here, this is called a Chiron, and this is a very expensive piece of equipment that was around the same vintage as the Amiga, and it's called a character generator, and all it does is like put text onto video, and you would normally see it in like a professional TV studio. And it was a very nice piece of gear. It was much more expensive than the Amiga, and literally all it could do was like put letters on the screen, and you could choose from like 5 different fonts, and you had like maybe 7 different colors it could be. Of course, the Chiron evolved over time, but man, like this is the kind of setup you needed to even like put words on video back then. Then like all of a sudden, like the Commodore Amiga comes along, and it had this thing called the video toaster. It had 4096 colors. It has like photorealistic images that you could manipulate and record onto video. And it just knocked my socks off, and it inspired me very much to like step up the game with the videos and get interested in computers. I'm not technical when it comes to computers. Like when I saw the last presenter like doing amazing things with the coding, I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. Like I wanna be able to do that one day. Like being able to like make images with numbers is incredible. And that's the goal. I'm gonna get there one day. For now, I'm just using software. This is a shot from actually that's actually a 3D render from a film called Viva Amiga, which our next presenter is one of the main narrators of, Jason Scott, and my friend Zach made it. And this is like a another look at like what an Amiga looked like in a small television studio back then. So anyway, that's just like a little bit of history of the Amiga. All the images that you saw were in Amiga ham mode. It's called Hold and Modify. It's a special trick mode that they use to get 4096 colors on the screen at one time. But that was hot stuff in 1985, let me tell you. That's the one thing you have to put into perspective with this whole presentation, is that this is 1985 to early 90s. And so nowadays, like you can like, oh, I can make videos and titles like on my phone. It's a piece of cake. But this is what started it all. So this is actually like a file browser here. I'm going to close it out. It's called Directory Opus. And we're going to use a program called Deluxe Paint. And Deluxe Paint is kind of like Photoshop, After Effects, and Illustrator, like all in one package. But obviously not as powerful as they are now. But it was the precursor to all that, man. It was the seed, man. This is like before all that stuff came out. So I'm going to load up DPaint. And I guess because I'm not gonna give like a very detailed demo, I'm just gonna show you like what I made for Babycastles, and then just give you like a little bit of background about how I did it instead of going through the whole thing. So I'm gonna load up this animation. You might have seen it playing if you walked in at the beginning. So this is an old school like ball mouse. It's got like a ball on it, and I didn't bring my mouse pad, so my clicks are a little off. Oh, you rock, dude. Thank you. You're awesome. I should have known, right? There's be a mouse pad here. What I did was I took the Babycastles logo off of their Facebook page, and I converted it. It was a JPEG, and I converted it to an Amiga IFF file, or interchangeable file format. So it's actually, what you're looking at now is 16 colors, and this is what I made. Very simple, but again, if you popped in like your VHS tape back in 1985, and this was like at the beginning of like a home video, it was pretty cool. And this is one of the things I like to show. I like to help people like understand like where we came from, because you can take things for granted these days, because like we have so much power at our fingertips that it wasn't always like that easy to make this stuff. So there's the animation, and now I guess what I'll do is I'll just kind of throw down some typefaces, and we can just like move them around, and I'll show you the idea of how you accomplish this. So there's so basically like Deluxe Paint, like I said, it's like it does animation, but it's also for painting. But this is like the animation menu here. So I'm just going to set the frames to set number of frames to 0, and that's going to erase everything except the one that I'm on now. No, sorry, number of frames to 1. Yes, I do want to erase them all. So let's just say we want to like move the logo, right? What you do is you pick it up as a brush, and very very similar to a brush in Photoshop. You can pick it up. So let's just say I pick up part of it here. I can get that menu out of the way there. You pick. Oh, I wasn't on the brush tool. Yeah, awesome. I was not. So, but check this out. It's got one layer of undo. Oh no! I guess I clicked twice. But you see, this is what we had to deal with back then, man. It wasn't that easy. It was hard, man. You had to earn it. Good thing. I got saved here. This is what it's like, man. Like we have a friend, my friend Thierry, sitting right here, and he exhibits at Vintage Computer Festival East every year, and we always say that like it's like more than half the time, like the victory is just getting the stuff to like work. Let's see what the BC, yeah, Babycastles logo with title. And now we're back in business. See, so that was another technique I did a lot, is I saved frequently. And that was very, very, very important. All right, back in business here. Now watch this. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to pick it up. And if you notice, it picks up like everything, right? So what we don't want to do, like we don't want to like also pick up the white. So what we can do is make the white color 0. And now we can pick up just the logo. So color 0 is kind of like your alpha channel. And now we have just the logo all by itself. Yeah! Another cool feature of Deluxe Paint is it's got a swap screen. So you can kind of like, you have a spare screen where you can just like mess around. Like it's kind of like you just throw anything down there you want without messing up your animation. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to put this to the swap screen. Copy to the spare. Now I'm just, the laptop here isn't doing anything. It's my monitor. So we got all that on the swap screen, and I'm going to white out the logo, so there'll be nothing behind it. So I'm just going to make a filled square. Part of the other fun of this and keeping the history alive is that I realized like I stepped away from this for a while, because obviously when the more powerful tools became available, I started using them, and I kind of forgot about Amiga a little bit. So now, like for the past 5-7 years when I started the YouTube channel with my buddy Anthony, part of the fun has just been going back and like relearning this stuff. And like some of this used to be like, it used to be so second nature to me, and now I'm just kind of like relearning it, and it's bringing back, it's really fun. So now I'm on my swap page. I'm gonna go pick this sucker up. Go back to regular animations, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the number of frames. So I'm gonna do 30 frames. So what it's going to do, it's going to make 30 copies of what we see here. So it's going to be a blank white space at the top with Babycastles on the bottom. And I'm also going to turn on my coordinates. It's not simple just to put something in the center of the screen. So you turn on the coordinates, and this screen is 640 by 400, so it's 640 pixels wide. So if I want to put it in the center, I have to put it at 320. So there we go, 320. And now what we can do is we can move this brush that we stamped down with a tool called the Move Requester. You have your X, Y, and your Z. And there's different axes. There's the axis of the canvas, and there's the axis of the brush. But let's say you want to do something very simple, and you just want to like move it across the screen. We would say X, and we can move it 300 pixels. And so now it's basically going to take that and move it to the right. And it's got a preview, which is a hot feature, man, because once you stamp down those frames, they're forever. So we can preview it, and there it goes off to the right. Now, if you loved it, you could draw it and it would stamp down all 30 frames. But let's say we want to like get fancier, right? Let's say we want to get fancier. Let's just like leave it where it is. And there's also like a Z-axis, right? So if you do we can make it like 500 on the Z-axis. So it started big and went to there. The other thing I do is when I work with this, I always lay out like what I want the final piece to be, and I use the move to, because this way you'll never like move it to exactly where you want, especially when you're picking up individual letters. So I can get to that in a minute, but basically I build everything the way I want the final piece to look, and then I disassemble it and make everything come to that point, because you'll never be able to like guess that point just by using this move requester. But so we can also take the Z-axis and we can spin it, which we can like turn it. So we could do like a 360, and it's gonna spin it. That's pretty cool. I'm trying to think what I should. Should I stamp that one down? Is that a buy? All right. So we'll hit the draw, and we'll draw down 30 frames of the logo spinning. And yeah, it's gonna take a minute. This. I should have done 20 frames. This has got a Motorola 68020 in it, and I've got a 68030 accelerator in it with it's running at a whopping 40 megahertz. which is actually like really fast because the original Amiga that came out in '85 was a 68,000 Motorola 68,000, and it ran at 7 megahertz. This is a powerful Amiga. This was my dream machine. When I got my first Amiga, like I never imagined 6030. Like, are you kidding me? And I got about 128 megabytes of RAM in here, which is hot because the first Amiga came with well, the very first one you could expand to like 512 and then 1 megabyte of RAM. So it came with 256, expanded to 512. So I got a lot of RAM in here. I could do pretty much anything that the Amiga can do here. The Amiga, it's so funny. John Carmack said the Amiga could never play Doom, and he has been proven wrong. because of very smart people like you guys in this room, they figured out how to do it. So yes, the Amiga can play Doom. So our global, okay, so still have it set. Our global frame rate is 30 frames, and it's going to play back at 30 frames per second. So this whole move should take about 1 second. Yeah. It's so funny because the thing that really like blows me away by this is like when you put this like in the hands of someone who's like super talented and a great artist and spend a lot of time with it, they can do some like really amazing things. But all I do is like move words around on the screen. But it was cool, you know. It's, hey, you know, you do what you can, right? So yeah, so that is the gist of it. I can show you one last thing, how I kind of like made the baby castles like spin on. The best way to do this is to like work backwards, because if you had to like start each letter like off the screen and want it to like hit a very specific point, it would be a lot of trial and error. So what I do is I start at the end and I work backwards. Copy that to the swap page. Cool, and now I'm going to white this stuff out. So we have just a logo. And now I'm going to go to our swap page. And I'm going to grab the S. Now this is actually pretty cool that this happened. If you notice, it did not pick up the shadow because we reset, and if you look over here, our color 0 is set to black. So it did not pick up the shadow. That's pretty rad. So we have to set it back to white. Somewhere along the line, it got changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my S because I know I want to stop here. So I'm going to grab our S. And I'm going to line it up with this S so I know like where I want it to end. And then I'm going to jump over to our oh, sorry, I skipped one thing. I need to make animation frames. So we'll go back here. We're going to make this 30 frames. Actually, we'll do 20, so it doesn't take as long. Frames, set number. We'll do 20 frames. Hit OK. Now we have 20 frames of just the logo only. Go back to our swap page so we know where to stamp down the S. There we go. Oh, okay, and like I said, we're going to work backwards, so I'm actually going to go to frame 20. I'm going to stamp the S down there. So that's where we want to end up. Now we go back to our move requester, and instead of like moving it forward, we're going to say come here, like come to this point. And if you do the z-axis here, again, it will spin 360, but you know, let's spin it a lot more. Let's do, you know, let's spin it like 720 at least. And so basically it's going to, and then we want to move it, so it's going to be spinning like we spun the logo before, and we want to come on from the left side of the screen. So we're going to have it come. We'll do again it's 640, so we'll do about 500 pixels, and let's see what we got there. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah. So I would maybe even go more than 720, but let's stamp it down and see how it looks. Draw it. Here comes the S.
Oh, there it comes.
Boom. And then I can just, I'm almost done. And basically I repeat that for each letter. But now what I want to do is I want to add like 10 more frames because I want them to come on simultaneously. I just don't want one to come on, then the next one, then the next one. So what I'll do is I'll add 10 frames. So we'll go to frames, set number, and we'll make it 30 frames. So now it's going to take frame number 20, which we're on, and copy it 10 times for a total of 30 frames. And now I'm going to go grab the E. Line up my E where I want it to end. I'm going to swap back over to the animation. I missed it there. Let's see. There we go. I'm gonna stamp it down, and now I don't have to like enter. I want it to move in the same fashion as the S, so I don't need to put in any new numbers into the move requester. I'll just bring up the move requester, and I'll keep it at 20 frames, so it comes in after the S. But we'll do a little preview just in case. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking like it's gonna work, and we draw it. And that's it. This is how I. Oh wow, it's playing back really fast. But you can change that. You can change the playback to like 20 frames. And the one thing that I didn't show you is I'll do one more letter, and I'll be. Am I good on time?
You're about at time.
About at time? Okay. Well, I'll just tell you about it then. I forgot. It's also got a slow in and slow out. So what I did for the right animation was I gave it like 10 frames of an ease in. So as it fell into place, there would be like more frames. So it just kind of like eased in. And yeah, man, and that's it. That is how I used to make titles on my old VHS videos back in the day. It took a lot of time. It was a lot of fun, and it was, again, this machine was like way ahead of its time, and it changed my life. It got me into the film business, and most importantly, this machine, the Amiga computer, it's got like this amazing community of people that are still extremely passionate about it. So I also met like the best friends in my entire life because of this computer, which is the most important part. Anyone have any questions? All right, awesome. Thank you.